This week is Severe Weather Week in South Dakota and Minnesota, and all week our First Alert Weather team is taking a deep dive into what you need to know to keep yourself and your family safe when it comes to severe weather in our region. Tonight's topic is heat.
Welcome back. It's still Severe Weather Awareness Week in South Dakota, and I'm here with First Alert Meteorologist Tyler Roney and Lexie Murley. And tonight we're going to talk about the heat issue. You know, heat kills more people, believe it or not, than any other weather-related event on average around the world. So it's not flooding, it's not tornadoes, it's not severe thunderstorms, it is heat. So let's talk about the different type of heat, advisories that come out from the National Weather Service, Tyler.
You know, and they always talk about, people say, oh, we're in the Midwest, we're hardy folk. It's just the heat, it's not a big deal, but it really is. And this also has their own sets of different weather alerts, right? You have your excessive heat watches, your heat advisories, and your excessive heat warnings. Now, when the heat index, the feels like temperature, gets up to about 105 degrees, you're going to have those heat advisories get issued. Again, the excessive heat watches, that's when the conditions are looking favorable down the line, and that's when we, again, would start to really issue those first alert weather days to let you know well in advance.
Yeah, I was just going to mention on top of that, heat is something that we can predict pretty accurately a lot of the time, especially during those late summer months. You know, it's not just the heat, it is also the humidity here in the Midwest. I'm sure we've heard that 100 times plus. But the difference really between those watches and warnings, the watches issued multiple days in advance, and that's typically, as Tyler was mentioning, when we would push those first alert weather days for you, so you know well in advance when this heat warning might be with us, or those heat advisories.
Well, let's talk about some heat safety tips now. So if there's a heat advisory issued or excessive heat warning, things like that, here's some things you can do. And yes, some of these are pretty basic, you might already know. Make sure you stay hydrated. Drink plenty of water and take breaks often.
Yeah, and that's key. You know, you can really never drink too much water, especially days like that. It's very important to stay hydrated and to find that shade. If you're, working outside, that's very important too. Get into the air conditioning if you're able to as well. Try to avoid your time outside as much as possible.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people think liquids, but it does really have to be water on those really hot days. I mean, if you're drinking multiple cups of coffee, I know I do every single morning, that's not going to hydrate you as well, and then you might be prone to some of those heat-related illnesses.
And we're not talking about alcohol either. Don't, just, try to stay hydrated with water. And, check the back seat. A lot of people, it's a tragic thing when it happens, but when you hear about, kids left in the back seat and they die because of the heat, it does happen. So make sure you check that back seat every time you get out of your car if you have kids, and also take care of your pets. Make sure that they're taken care of.
Yeah, that's extremely big time too. You see that too. Sometimes people just have the window cracked a little bit. That's not going to cut it.
That's not.
And so that's heat safety tips for you. And all the things that we've talked about during this week, you can find that information on the Dakota News Now website, on the Dakota News Now weather app. And again, we're going to be first alerting you to all these things, hopefully days in advance, that at least we have the possibility. I mean, we can't forecast exactly where a severe thunderstorm or tornado is going to happen days in advance, but we can tell you where we think things might be getting pretty volatile.
And you'll notice that on our 10-day forecast too, the day will be in red. It'll have the First Alert logo on there, so that will mean that that will be a First Alert weather day to alert you to.
Yeah, whether it's severe thunderstorm warnings, that tornado threat, heat, even some flooding like we experienced last year, you're going to know about it well in advance.
Well, thanks for checking us out here during the 6:30 news on Severe Weather Awareness Week. I want to thank AirServe again for sponsoring these tips, and again, make sure to download that First Alert Weather app, and hopefully that'll help to keep you safe.